Hello, everyone. This is Gary coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we are getting ready to get ready. My friend Kayla will be joining us here very quickly. And we're looking forward to sharing some great information with you that I think is going to add a lot of value to your real estate business and, frankly, put a lot of commissions in your pocketbook. So I'm just doing a few things here to make sure that I am organized. I'm going live on Facebook as well. So just pushing the right button. So momentarily, Kayla will be joining us and we will get started. So bear with me while my Facebook sits and spins and spins and spins. We'll see if that gets up and running. I will go ahead and come back to the meeting. All right, guys. So Gary Allen in Las Vegas. I've been a realtor for about 4 years, and about a year into becoming a realtor, well, there's Kayla. Hey, Kayla, how are you?
Can you see me now?
I can see you now.
Hold on, I can't hear anything. Let me get my sound up. There we go.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. Got a little bit different background there.
Yes, I'm sitting in bed because I'm arguing with a company on hold right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just mentioning that I've been a realtor for about 4.5 years. About a year into becoming a realtor, I came across this amazing program that revolutionized my real estate business. And I know it's done the same for Kayla, which I'll let her explain here in a bit. But I went to a conference, and lo and behold, there's a gentleman up on stage by the name of Jordan Adler, very well-known networker, known, frankly, around the world, has friends everywhere, best-selling author of a book, 2 books now, a book called Beach Money and his recently released book, Better Than Beach Money. So I'm sitting in an audience of about 10,000 people, and I'm listening to Jordan, and I knew who Jordan was, and I knew what company he represented, but I had never checked it out. Well, that night, after listening to Jordan speak, I got on my computer and went to the website, and I saw something that I knew that I needed as a realtor. And I come to find out that someone in my office was actually knew Jordan very well and actually sold him a home up in Mount Charleston. So I asked Chet to have Jordan give me a call, which he did the next day. And I got started a couple days later. And ever since that time, which is about 3.5 years ago, my real estate business has been different. It's been a lot more profitable, a lot more fun. And I've actually started to grow a secondary income using the system. So what is the system that we're talking about? Kayla and I know, and there might be a few others here on the webinar, the system that we're talking about is send out cards. Guys, we are in the people business. We are in the relationship building business. So if that's true, and we all hopefully know that that is true, don't you think we should be using a system that helps us to create relationships, to cultivate friendships, to turn strangers into friends and prospects into clients? And probably the most important for us as realtors, to be able to turn clients into raving referral fans. And this system is a very simple internet-based system from my phone, my smartphone, or my laptop, desktop. I can actually create a physical greeting card that is personalized, highly personalized, with pictures from Facebook and my words, and I can have it in my handwriting and sign the card digitally, and be able to have that printed this evening, go out in tomorrow's mail, and land in my recipient's mailbox 3 or 4 days later. I'm able to add gifts to it, like gourmet types of foods, brownies, cookies, candy, send flowers, gifts for the home, gifts for mom and dad, gifts for children, gifts for pets and pet lovers. And by using this very simple system and sending out cards and gifts on a consistent basis, it has brought me in a ton of real estate commissions. I go after FSBOs and expireds using this system. Kayla does that very, very well, which I'll let her explain. But guys, the powerful system of being able to send out a heartfelt card, loving and appreciating your sphere of influence, your network, will transform your business. Now, there's a lot of bells and whistles. There's a lot of shiny objects in real estate. And I think we've all paid a lot of money for websites and pay-per-click and Facebook ads, but it's lacking the personal touch of something like Send Out Cards. So I like to say that Send Out Cards is the perfect marriage between high tech and high touch. It cuts through all of the digital noise that is thrown to you every day. And when you go out to your mailbox and you see a card that we have a 100% open rate, because everyone opens our cards it just bypasses the head and goes right to the heart. When you send a heartfelt message to someone with a picture that you've taken off of Facebook, because people post their lives on Facebook, and we're able to use those images and give them back to the recipients of a picture maybe of their newborn baby, or a picture of their 8-year-old son who just hit his first home run, or baby's first steps, or the new puppy in the household, or pictures from the Hawaii vacation. When you do this consistently, your recipients start to understand that you're connecting with them on a much deeper level than a like or even a comment on Facebook. They start to understand that you've taken time and noticed them on a much deeper level. And you end up going from someone that's out here in the ether where all the other realtors are at. And the more that you do this, the more that you love on your network, the more that you love your sphere of influence, you go from out in the ether where all the other realtors are to top of mind, and then to top of heart. And that is where the referral machine is at. And if you do this consistently, you're going to find that you're going to start seeing people refer business to you. It's happened to me. It's happened to Kayla. It's happened to my friend Brian, Lisa in San Diego. I mean, it just happens all the time. So this is a proven, low-cost, highly effective system that will help you to grow your business. So I'm going to share my screen and show you a couple examples of how I've used this in the past and the results that I've had from it. And then Kayla's going to talk about how she uses this, and specifically on how she uses it to go after expireds. And so give me 1 second here. Guys, so this is a little picture that I took off of Facebook of someone's newborn baby. Now, Becky and her husband, newlyweds here a couple years ago, moved to Las Vegas from southern Utah. He's a helicopter pilot. And he came down here and doubled his income, and they bought a home. And what ends up happening is they had a little baby boy here a couple months ago. So, and they posted that picture on Facebook. So I took that picture off of Facebook. I put it on a card. I put some little, nice saying on the front and on the inside of the card. And I attached a little plush baby toy. We call it Jingles the Blue Giraffe. And that all happened from my computer. It happened in a couple minutes. I hit send. That night, this card was printed, and they attached the gift at the home office, and it's sent out in the mail, and they got it 3 or 4 or 5 days later. So they ended up calling me saying, thank you so much for that thoughtful gift, and we really appreciate it. And, we're always thinking about you, and we thank you so much for the home that you helped us to purchase. And so that was great, right? And if you start sending out cards to people, within a week, you're going to start getting feedback from your network. It could be a phone call. It could be a text. It could be an email. It could be a Facebook post. But you're going to start to be recognized for loving and appreciating your network. And so what ends up happening is that a couple weeks later, she was at a office party, and someone almost across the room started talking about she's thinking about buying a home. And so Becky goes up and says, you need to meet my realtor. And so I got a referral from that event a couple weeks after I sent them a card. I went over to their home a couple weeks after that, and this picture was under a magnet on their refrigerator. I've gone to people's homes months after sending them a card, and my card is on their refrigerator or on their cadenza at their office. because people never throw away pictures that of their family and the people that they love. So it just works great, guys. So let me go ahead and see if I can show you another example here. So this gentleman here had a little baby boy. And let's see if I can find this. And he posted on Facebook a picture of, there it is. Let's see if we can get that. A picture of his 8-year-old son who ended up hitting his first home run. And Leonard posted a picture of his young 8-year-old and posted it on Facebook. And what did I do? I took that picture, I put it on a card, and I sent it to him. And I just wrote congratulations on the front, and on the inside right, it says something. What a great picture. Here's to all the home runs to come. Leonard calls me a couple of days later, says thank you very much. I was very kind, very thoughtful. And about a month later, he ends up referring someone to me. So if you use this system consistently and love on your network and love on your sphere of influence, and do it in a way that you're not even thinking of the return, just do it out of the kindness of your heart. You're just giving love and appreciation out to your network. And what ends up happening is that will come back to you, not one time over or 10 times over. It'll come back to you hundreds of times over in terms of the value. So it's just a phenomenal system. So Kayla, I know that you have used this system to love on your network, love on your sphere of influence. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, and then maybe you can share with us how you're using the system to absolutely crush your expired market up in Colorado.
Yeah, so hi everybody. Just so you know, we do try to keep up with questions and make sure that everyone gets those answered. So if you have questions, please post them in the chat or in the Q&A section, just so that we can make sure that you get those answered. If we don't answer it immediately, we will get to it. Yeah, so I really found send out cards in November, well, technically October of last year. So we're going on like 8 months now. And it has completely changed my business. Like, blown up everything and started over, and it's just completely different than it was. Before I used to focus on cold calling and just kind of hoped that my skills would get me there and hoped that my skills would improve. I mean, they always do, but you know what I mean. Cold calling isn't really anything that anyone really wants to do all day long every day. And so I was focusing on expireds and FSBOs through cold calling. And what I realized is that I need a different way to reach out to people other than your typical postcard that they get 100 of and toss out. I mean, I get 2 or 3 per day at my house. And I'm not in a busy area, but I get 2 or 3 postcards per day, and I just toss them. Like, sometimes if they've got a good marketing idea, I'll keep them just for reference and copy it, because that's what we do. But yeah, like, we needed something different. And so what I did was I asked a couple questions on a Facebook group and found Gary, and he's kind of been my mentor through all this. And he suggested that I read this book. This one, it's called A Revolution in Real Estate Sales by Jim McCord. He's actually a member of our Facebook group, in the Real Estate Resource Facebook group. So feel free to join that group. It's got a ton of awesome resources, but also go read this book. It's like $10 on Amazon. And I basically just copied, like, he's got tons of pictures in here showing you exactly what to do. But I'm also going to do that right now. So what I did was I copied what he did and listened to his advice and made a commitment to myself as of November 1st to start sending out a 4-card campaign, like an email drip campaign, a 4-card campaign to every single expired and for sale by owner that crossed my desk. And so what that looked like was about an hour a day for my assistant going through and processing all of our campaigns. Now, I need to create a new webinar video for you guys so that you can see exactly how to do that, like step by step, as far as the system goes. But today I'm going to show you exactly, what I'm sending out. So I sent out a 4-card campaign to every single FSBO and expired that crossed my desk. If they were over $1 million, I would send them brownies. At this point, if they're over 600,000, I'll send them brownies as well. Basically, they get one card from me every single week for about a month. That's what it equates to. And it just, it's a different way of reaching people, because they actually get, like, these are a couple that came back to me, because frankly, some will. These are a couple that came back to me. They get an actual envelope that they have to open. And that makes a huge difference. And so what I noticed once I started sending these cards is people started calling me to ask them, or to ask me to list their homes. So like I received probably 10 phone calls in the second month of sending cards, of people calling me and saying, hey, you know, it says here that, you know, one of them says, I have a solution for you. Well, I'd like to, what's your solution? And I'm sitting here going, well, I'm not going to tell you that over the phone, in my head. And so I go, well, you know, I'd really love to show you that in person. When can we meet? And when those are your questions and that's how you respond, it is literally the easiest appointment that you will ever set. Like, I can't even explain how easy it is, because they go, well, I'm free on whatever day. And then you set the appointment and you show them and you list them. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. So I use this right now. I'm actually starting June 15th to redo my send out cards campaigns for expireds. And the reason I say redo them, or restart them, the reason I say restart them is because I got so busy. I literally can't handle it. Like, I actually had to stop sending cards in, I think it was mid-February, on a daily basis, so that I could take a break, handle the, I think it was like $7 or $8 million worth of business that I had going, the 9 pendings and everything else. I had to stop so that I could get those done and handled and still give a quality level of service to my clients. And so now I'm taking a bit of a vacation here starting tomorrow. I'm going to go hiking some mountains, come back refreshed. And then on June 15th, I'm restarting my program, because at one point I calculated my ROI up until I believe it was the end of March. And from, what was it, November 1st to the end of March, I had landed $120,000 worth of commissions in signed listing agreements. Now, that's not a small amount. I think any of us would be super happy with $120,000. I've already closed about 82 so far this year, and I didn't have anything closed between, I would say, January and February, because everything I signed was going live in January. It's super weird. But anyways, what that equaled out to with my send out cards program was an ROI of $66 for every single dollar spent. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I think Gary Keller says that $4 ROI for every dollar spent. No, go away. Sorry, it's probably my furnace people. The $66 for every dollar spent, Gary Keller says 4 is what you should shoot for. So the fact that I found something that's nearly 16 times more than Gary Keller, like, in Gary we trust, Gary Keller recommends, like, that's amazing. And it hasn't stopped. So, like, when I stopped sending out my cards in February, I was still getting calls. In March, I listed a $620,000 or $650,000 home from cards I sent out in November. So they have incredible staying power. And they literally called me, said, we got your brownies, we got your card. We would really like to talk to you because our circumstances have changed and we're thinking about moving again. It was signed literally the next day. It's insane. And we've received one offer on it. Granted, it was a low ball, but whatever. Like, $650,000 is not a small amount. Oh my gosh, y'all. No, I'll call you back. I'll call you back. Sorry. I can't mute it on my computer because then it mutes you guys. Yeah, so basically it's just a phenomenal program. I'm going to do a screen share right now and show you exactly what cards I'm sending out so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Let me go in here, screen share. And so there is a way that you guys can find these so that you can copy them as well. If you just go to this page called the Real Estate Resource, and I'm going to put that in the chat for those of you who may not already be members. Nope, that's to all the panelists and attendees. There we go. So this is basically Gary and I's page at this point. If you go to photos right here, there's going to be a lot of different ideas, some cards that people send out, just super cool resources for you. This is actually the view from the house that I listed in March. Pretty phenomenal. And let's see, if you go to, this is the easy way to find it, photos and then albums. Okay, photos and then albums. If you go to the expired system, there's 9 photos in here. And what you're going to find is the exact series. So like if you go to first card exterior, it tells you what part or what photo you're looking at. This is my first card. So the first card, I take a photo of the home, either from the MLS or Google or Zillow or whatever, and I will upload that photo and use it as the first card. You don't get the for sale sold sign thing anymore through send out cards. They took away some of the elements, but you can still kind of recreate that. And so that's the first card. And if you can imagine getting a card, like the easiest way to describe this is think in terms of these sellers. What's going to stand out to them? What's going to be different than what everyone else is doing? Yeah, everyone else is sending like a really generic postcard. Like, you looking to upgrade? Yeah, I am. That's why I listed my house for sale. So sending them something with their house on the front catches their attention, and they go, I wonder what this is. And then you go into the second one, and you've got some text here, Dear Richard and Denise, my name is Kayla Lieblich, and I'm a realtor here in Northern Colorado. It appears that your home recently came off the market. I was just curious, how in the heck your home didn't sell? Please call me about this, as I have a strategy to get your home in front of new people and get it sold for top dollar. And then, of course, my information. It's super simple and super easy. It's not a hard process. It's not a difficult sell or anything like that. It doesn't talk about how great I am. It talks about them. Like, how in the heck did your home not sell? We're in one of the hottest markets that Colorado's ever seen. That doesn't make sense. So that's the first card that they get. The back of the cards looks like this. It's customized to my company. What you'll notice is I've got everything that potentially saves me from any issues. So I've got my brokerage in there. I've got my company in there. As always, the greatest compliment I can receive. And then also, of course, if your property is currently listed, you've got your disclaimer on there. I don't have to go in and add that every time. That's the standard back to my cards. If I'm sending something to a friend or a family member, they're going to get a different back. Or if it's a very personal card for my clients, they already know my face. They're going to get that card just with a different back, because it's not always about me. It's about them. Here's card number 2 that they receive about a week later. Hang in there. Kid frustrated doing his homework, right? Dear current owner. So obviously this went out to maybe someone that had I don't know, whatever their name was in public record. My name's Kayla Lieblich. I'm a realtor here in Northern Colorado. Sound familiar? Yeah, sure does. You want to stick out in their minds and create a pattern so that they recognize you. So I'm sure by now you've gotten a card or 2 from me and maybe a call. As you can see, I am eager to help you achieve your goal of selling your house. You need an agent who is focused on you and what you need. This focus is what has made me one of the top 10 agents in my office and highly recommended by my clients. So what I'm trying to do is just repeat myself a little bit, have a little bit of fun with it. This is the 3rd card. What? 1, oh, there's 2. I don't know where, there's the interior. Okay, they got jumbled in Facebook. Thanks, Facebook. I was like, that doesn't match up. So this is the front of the card that I just read, card 3. At least it's labeled in here, so like pay attention to right there. But yeah, what I'm trying to do is tell them that I'm here to help them, and not be overly abrasively salesy. The second card that they get, and you can notice on this one, this is actually my handwriting. Super fantastic service that Send Out Cards has is they will convert your handwriting and your signatures into an actual usable font. So I don't have to worry about this looking like it's something that I just printed and sent out. It actually looks incredibly personalized because it is my actual handwriting. So it's super cool. Again, this one just talks about, you know, I'm a realtor here in Northern Colorado. I'd love to meet you to show you how I could get how I get houses sold. Don't forget to ask about my Brave Homes program. That's a program that I actually offer to all of our first responders, teachers, paramedics, military. If you're going to use that idea, fantastic. Make sure you change the name. That is my intellectual property. I do own the website and all that sort of stuff, so you really don't want to get it confused. But yeah, anyways, that's basically where that is. It's a super awesome way to connect with people who might be a part of that industry or know someone who is. This one goes with the lemonade card. I don't know how this all got so jumbled. It never has before. And then the last card that they get, this is about 3 to 4 weeks after they receive the first card. If at first you don't succeed, call me. And again, my phone number in big letters. If you're still interested in getting your home sold, I would love the opportunity to speak with you. Marketing and actively searching for your buyer is something I do daily for all of my clients. I promise if you put me to work for you, you won't be disappointed. Give me a call when you're ready to move forward. Again, not pushy, not super salesy. It's, as Cody Gibson said not too long ago in a class that he was teaching, the issue that we see today is that everything is technology. And that's fantastic, but it's not human anymore. So there's no human element in anything that we really do. It's just automated, ready to go. If you write like you're writing to a person, you're going to have a lot better results than if you write and make it super salesy. That's not how they want to feel. They want to feel like they're a person and that they're appreciated. So that's where you can find my expired system. Again, I'll show you. You go to the real estate resource, and then you go to photos, you go to albums, and you'll find my for sale by owner system and my expired system. They're the exact cards that I used to generate that $120,000 in commissions in 6 months. Was it even 6 months? It was like 4 months, 5 months, 4 months. I don't know. Not a lot of time. Now, the other thing that I would like to point out with this, I'm going to stop doing my share. Here we go. Is that it's really important that you're super consistent with it. What I did was I made a commitment to myself to send out cards, or to use the system of Send Out Cards and send these cards out and start these campaigns every single day for 30 days. Now, there's a few reasons I did that. It takes about 5 days for the first person to start getting them, especially if you add brownies. So you're not going to start seeing results in the first few days, so that's a wash. You have to let the cards sink in. People need to process them. They're probably hurting from their last realtor. I've had people call me and be like, I just got your card and it says that my home came off the MLS. Our house is still listed. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, it never came off the MLS. And I'm sitting here going, if it showed up on my list, it certainly did. I didn't say that, but I said, let me pull up your address and just double check. So I did. Turns out her realtor forgot to put their house back on the market. Completely spaced it. Let it expire, never even called them. If you can imagine how pissed she was when I was the one to tell her that, like the way she hung up the phone was, that piece of I cannot believe her. She is so bad at communicating. I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, and I'll call you back when we're ready to sell our house. And then she hung up on me. I mean, I didn't cause the problem. I wasn't the bearer, like I had to be the bearer of bad news, but she would have never known that her house came off the market, which is insane. I don't know how they didn't get phone calls, in all honesty, because our area is pretty heavy on expired calling. But she didn't. Somehow they completely managed to go under the radar. Anyways.
That brings up a good point, Kayla, you know, that all the other realtors are dialing for dollars. We've probably all done it ourselves, but the energy that you get when you're the 10th person that calls the expired that day, you know, they don't really want to get that 10th phone call. They don't really want to get the second phone call. And they get inundated by phone calls, you know, hey, I can do this, I can do that. But if you do something different, if you separate yourself from what everybody else is doing, you get noticed. And when you do it in a very kind way, you send a, you know, I think a good rule of thumb is before you ask of something of value from someone, give something of value to someone. So send them a card with a couple brownies. And then when you follow up, the whole dynamic, the whole energy dynamic is completely different because you've given something to someone instead of asking for something. And it's like, oh, you're the guy that sent me the brownies. Thank you so much. That was really cool. And I know that's happened with you, Kayla, that the whole dynamic, the energy is completely different. In fact, I think you had $1 million plus listing that they said something to the effect of, well, you've sent me brownies. Now I have to do business with you.
Yeah, basically the guy, you know, it was a listing that was completely out of my wheelhouse, like $1 million listing, and it included a plane and a runway and a farmer and a lease, and like there's no way that I personally could have handled it on my own. But anyways, like I called the guy and I finally got a hold of him. He'd received a few of my cards, he'd received the brownies, and I think his exact response was, "Oh, you're the one that sent me the baked goods? Well, I can't say no to you. When would you like to come over?" Like, it is so easy to set an appointment when you're coming from a place of, I want to help. I'm not a pushy salesperson. It's just so different. And so one thing that I will say is that, you know, a lot of this time that I spent prospecting with send out cards, I was prospecting probably half the time when I first started while I was also doing cold calling. I don't mind cold calling. Sometimes I really hate it, but you do find that you have the best results when you pair the two together. And that's only because, you know, if you call them after the first week, you're going to start getting people who aren't being inundated by 5, 6, 7 agents every single day. And you're going to be able to start connecting with people who just got a card from you and now recognize your face. And so it creates a different dynamic. Oh, you're the one that sent a card. Yeah, that was me. How can I help you? Like, what can we do to help your family get where they need to go? And so creating those connections, and, you know, if you don't have a speed dialer, if you don't have a lot of funds to pull those phone numbers and pay for those every month, go door knock these houses. Like, focus on an area that's really close to you and door knock. You know, a lot of people say, well, we don't have a lot of expireds. Neither do I. So maybe I'm only doing 2 or 3 campaigns per day. Some days it's 1. But I'm literally processing them every single day. And so the idea is create the consistency for your lead generation. Create the habit of checking for expireds in your area every single day. And once you do that, you're going to start to see, okay, these are the expireds. You could maybe print out a map, go knock on their door, leave a expired packet as well. They're going to start to see your face. Really hone in on how you want to target these people. The other things that I do that I usually speak about are, I went to family reunion this year and I realized that a lot of us, I would say 90% of realtors who are, you know, still single agents or just starting to build a team, they will go for the next shiny thing, right? And send out cards could very well be that for you if you don't use it effectively. And so one of the things that you really have to do is figure out what you enjoy in this business and then figure out how you want to target them. So I love send out cards. Like, I love sending cards. I love putting my clients on a drip campaign and then getting a text or an email from them later on, like 3 months later, and going, we just thought your card was so great. So glad that you wanted to check in on us. Like, oh shit, I totally forgot I sent that card. And yet they feel loved. They don't know that I planned it 6 months ago and that they're on a campaign to get one of those every 3 months. But it makes people feel good. And so what I realized is that I needed to hone my focus onto 3 different levers of business. So I have my expireds. I have expireds and FSBOs, I suppose. I have open houses because I love doing open houses. I don't know why. I'm sick and twisted and I put out 100 signs and it's ridiculous. But I love doing open houses, and everyone should love on their sphere of influence. I guess a 4th one would be realtor referrals, so out of area agent referrals. That would be my 4. But my 3 are the ones that I'm prospecting every single week. And so what I did was I went, okay, these are the types of clients I want to find. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take those types of clients and figure out how I can prospect them using send out cards. So of course I just explained my expired and FSBO system to you. Every single day I spend an hour in the morning. I go through, I search for new FSBOs, new expireds, I add them to my list, I put them on a campaign, and they get dripped on for the next month and a half from my card. The other thing that I do is I go on and I send 5 cards of gratitude every single morning. Now, what does that look like? It's like what Gary was talking about. Go on Facebook, find your favorite people, and make sure, like, maybe not your favorite people, but find 5 people who've had great life events in the last week or the last day, whatever. And send them a card using their pictures, whatever. If you have to ask them, like, people get baffled by this, but they go, how do you find the addresses for everyone? Guess what, guys? Facebook has Messenger, and we typically have their phone numbers. So what I do is I just ask them. And no one has ever said, no, I'm not giving you my address. That's weird. No one has ever said that. It's a drunk monkey that a lot of people have. Just ask for their address. It's so simple. One thing that I'll show you, and this resulted in a $300,000 referral and created a client for life with my client. So this is a thank you card that I received from my client for the card that I sent to them. Like, it's so funny. I sent them a congratulations on your wedding, because they eloped and they got married finally. And I sent them a gift card. I think it was a $25 gift card. Nothing fancy, but it was a gift card and a card. With I don't think it even had a picture of them on it because I didn't know how to do that at that point with send out cards. I just started. But the interior of this, you guys, reads, thank you so much for the $25 gift card. My little sister is looking to buy here soon, and I already gave her your business card. Heart, Clarissa, and Jake. So not only did I get a thank you card, which we all love to get, but I also got a $300,000 referral from one of my first cards that I sent out. I've done the same thing with, like, anniversary cards. I sent out an anniversary card to 2 of my clients, and I had their home listed. They were an expired that I found through cold calling before I started with send out cards. I sent them an anniversary card. It was their 46th anniversary. So of course I sent them a card. And the wife called me. I sent them, I think, chocolate covered pretzels as well. The wife called me, Linda, and she goes, honey, we just love you so much. Our kids didn't even send us something for our anniversary. You were just so thoughtful. We are so grateful. When can you come over and take a look at our townhouse and tell us, and so we can sign the paperwork to list that with you as well. So my one call to this person ended up as a $600,000 listing, and then my card gave them so much love and confidence in me that they became some of the easiest clients for me to work with, and they signed another $300,000 listing with me that day. Like, how crazy is that? It's so easy when you just show love and appreciation. And so that's really what I've been doing. I also send out, we always talk about the playground of real estate. And some people in real estate really suck and they're just jackasses. Like, let's be honest. Whenever I get whenever I get an offer on one of my listings, they get one of two cards. Congratulations, we're going to be working together. And then, keep up the good work. Thank you so much for submitting an offer. Do you know what these do? The congratulations, we're going to be working together also comes with brownies. Do you know how much easier it is to have a transaction with someone and get through to closing when they're invested in working with a good agent, with someone who shows gratitude to them? I just had a deal today where I sent this lady brownies. She goes, that was the most classy thing I've ever seen. My clients decided they wanted a couple pieces of paperwork. I was able to convince them that they don't need it and that it's not a big deal. This was relating to oil and gas rights. They're not small documents. I still found them and got them over to them, but she said, don't worry about it. We'll get them when we get them. It's not a big deal. They don't necessarily need them for the process. It makes our lives so much easier to show gratitude to the people that we're working with. Also, if you're with KW or any of the profit sharing companies, it's a great tool to try to recruit people. So that's another way that you can look at it. For open houses, when people attend my open house, I took a class with Chris Suarez with KW Group Coaching. He is an expert in open houses. Expert. Like, no one throws a better open house than this guy as far as goals and getting contacts. Using his strategies, I now get their address. I get their phone number. I get their email. I get all of their damn information. And then I send them thank you card and brownies for thanking them for attending my open house. What that looks like, that listing that I just showed you, that with the great mountain views that I got from my cards that I sent in November, and I got the listing in March. I don't know if this is even making sense. Cards sent in November, listing signed in March, $650,000 listing, hosted an open house the first weekend. That turned into 10 contacts of people who are looking to buy, sell, or invest now, and could be at least 2 transactions. So essentially, and when you're looking at the $700,000 price range, that's $7 million in revenue over 10 transactions. $7 million in revenue. Like, I can't even explain to you how fantastic that was. Now, how many of those people am I still in contact with? Probably 6. 6 out of 10. None of them had realtors. These are just the ones that didn't have realtors over 2-hour open houses. $7 million worth of revenue, and they all still, like, almost all of them still talk to me. 2 of them are prepping their houses for sale. Those listings, they're thinking of me when they're getting those cards every couple of weeks. So that's definitely, it changes the game when you're able to take something like an open house and expand on it so well. So Mike just asked how I get their addresses and info from the open house. I ask. Like, it sounds really stupid, but like when you're filling out the form, all you have to do, like, ask them, oh, great, well, can I send you more information on this neighborhood? Fantastic. What's the best email to send that to you? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Just in case that email comes back to me, what's the best phone number for you so I can make sure that you get that information? Fantastic. Great. I really love to send thank you cards. I promise I won't spam you with mail. Would you mind if I sent you a card or 2 here and then? Great. What's your mailing address? Literally, that's my script. It's that easy. You don't have to make it more complicated than it already is. Now, keep in mind, I've already built a decent relationship with these people by talking to them. I know they don't have a realtor. That's how you really build your database. Like, and Chris Suarez, most people are like, get as many people through an open house as you want, or as you possibly can. No, I don't want as many people. I've had 100 people come through a freaking open house and I didn't connect with a single person. It's not worth it. My goal is 2. If I get 2 addresses, 2 phone numbers, 2 email addresses, that's all I want. That is a good open house. I don't have to sell the house. I don't have to write a contract the next day. I just need 2 people added to my database. That's it. Now, this one just so happened to be fantastic, and I got 10. Just perfect timing on everyone coming and going. But that's how you turn in each of your levers into something that is just phenomenal. You go from being great to amazing when you start sending cards to really touch and keep in touch with these people.
I've got a thought for you here. I haven't shared this with you before, but I was speaking with a broker back on the East Coast, 27 offices, and he uses send out cards, and he also talks to his third-party vendors, his inspector, his loan officer, and he actually has them up and running on a send out cards subscription. He won't do business with a third-party vendor unless they use send out cards. Yeah. And so what ends up happening is that the inspector sends a card saying, thank you for allowing me to inspect your home. Oh, I see you're working with Kayla. She's a great realtor. And the same thing with the loan officer. Kayla's a great realtor and you're in the right hands. And I was sitting there thinking you could actually, with their approval, you could actually create the card for them if they don't have a send out card. I think they should have one. But if they don't, you can actually create the card as if it's coming from them, because you can have the return address as their address, their name, and you're actually sending the card saying, hey, great, you're working with Kayla. She's a great realtor. There's so many different ways that you can use.
Great idea.
Is that a great idea?
It's so great. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's fantastic. Yeah.
So there's just so many ways that you can use this to grow your business, to love on your network, to go after FSBOs and expireds. Someone is asking about, I think, Kayla, you were mentioning, how do I get phone numbers? With FSBOs, if you get your FSBOs from Zillow, they've got the phone number, so you can follow up that way. Yes. So there's just so many different ways to use this in a high-tech, high-touch way that makes an impact, that cuts through all the digital clutter and gets you recognized and loving on your network, and they in turn love you and start sending you business.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay.
Hold on one second. I was just going to answer Melissa's question from the chat real quick, if that's okay. Yep. So Melissa, I actually have 30 different groups that I use. So when I'm going through and I'm processing something, I'll upload all of the expireds into my expireds not yet started on campaign. And then I will start all of them on that campaign that same day. And then I'll move them to, there should be another one in here that says expired campaign started. And so like open house depends on and I'll label the open house what address they're on. So they go into the open house not yet started. Once I start them, I move them all to my, whatever the open house address is. So the easiest thing is to stay super organized, right? So it's not going to harm you. Like I've got all my farms, I've got my family reunion agents, I've got my current tenants, my current clients, Brave Homes people, my ALC members at my office. Anyone who sent me a referral gets moved into this group. It's basically I have tons and tons of there's my Vulcan 7 expired card campaign. So I use Vulcan 7 to pull all my data. So they've been started. That is how I organize everything. It's just so much easier to stay organized. And I'll go through and I'll record exactly how I do this and post it in the Facebook group here sometime this next week, probably after the 15th, just so you guys can see the exact system. I'm going to let Gary take that away. Keep asking questions in the chat and the Q&A section, and I'll keep answering those while Gary explains the Send Out Cards program for us. All
right, so with Send Out Cards, we have a program that really fits anyone's needs. We have 4 different subscriptions. 2 of them, I think, are the most appropriate for realtors, but I'm going to go through all of them. So first of all, I want to go ahead and share websites, and maybe Kayla, you can put this in the system so that everyone has our websites. But if you're on this webinar and you're not currently using Send Out Cards, you're here checking this out, and I invited you, or you saw my email or my post on Facebook or LinkedIn, whatever, and you want more information, you want to go to my website, which is sendoutcards.com/go mobile. If Kayla invited you, then you want to go to her website, sendoutcards.com/216581. Guys, when you go on these websites, you can actually open up an account and get started and send a free card to someone. So I highly recommend that you send a card to a friend, a loved one, a prospect, or a client. Even send the card to yourself so that you're confident and you know the quality and how it feels and you know how it presents. It's so worth it to do that. And when you do that, you have set up a basic account. When you send a free card to someone, you've set up a basic account. This is basically a pay-as-you-go type plan. So you create a card, you'll pay for it. You create a card, you'll pay for it. Now, the basic plan is really good for grandma to send a couple cards a month. It's not really meant for a professional. It gives you a limited relationship manager system, and it doesn't give you branding, and it just doesn't give you all the tools that Send Out Cards offers. But when you do send a card to someone for free, you will have a basic account. Then you can upgrade your account and go to one of the other plans, which I'll talk about here shortly. So the basic account, you're going to pay $2.75 for a standard card. You can pay another $1 if you use a build your own card or a photo drop card. You know, it's not the best pricing. I mean, it's still better than spending a half hour in your car and going down to Hallmark and spending, you know, $6 or $7 for a card, because you can customize it, you can add pictures and such. But the basic account is really for someone that just sends out a couple cards a month. The enhanced program is $17 a month. That gives you access to the system where your price for your card goes down to $2.25. There's no upcharges for build your own cards or photo drop cards. It's basically $2.25 a card. If you do send out a group send of 20 or more, the price goes down to $2 per card. You do get a 15% discount on all the gifts that are in our gifting section. And you get the unlimited relationship manager. That's basically a contact manager. So it gives you all the tools that you need. You're able to brand the back of the card, and you're able to send out campaigns and such. Now, just a quick note on campaigns. Kayla talked about it here briefly. She has a expired campaign where someone gets 4 cards over the space of a month. But you could also have a 6-touch campaign where they get 6 cards from you during the year. So they get a birthday card and an anniversary card and a holiday card and a spring is here card and maybe a month anniversary where they bought the home. So you can set up the campaigns where you're dripping on someone on an automated basis. Once you put someone into that campaign, you can forget about it. They're going to get those certain amount of touches during the year. But you can also use this in a way that you can send one card to many people. So let's say you haven't expired and you want to send 100 cards to everyone in that neighborhood asking for their help to find a friend or a relative that would like to move into that neighborhood. You can do that. You create one card, you send it out to 100 people, you get a list from your title rep and upload that into a group and hit send, and boom, it goes out to 100 people. So campaigns are really great ways to drip on people or to send out a mass card to everyone that you want to have touch. So the enhanced program is great. $17 a month gives you a lower price point, gives you the unlimited relationship manager, includes all types of cards, so there's no upcharging. All right, so here's the 2 plans that I'm going to recommend for anyone that's a realtor. This is crazy, guys. They just released these plans here about 2 months ago. The premium and the enterprise programs are off the hook. So with the premium plan, $97 a month, look at this. Unlimited single card sends, including postage. Guys, you can send off 100 cards a month, 300 cards a month, 500 cards a month, and all of the cards and the postage is included in the $97 a month plan. That is incredible.
So Gary, let me elaborate on that 1 second. So guys, remember when I said that I send out 5 cards per day of gratitude to my sphere? That's what I'm talking about. I use those unlimited single card sends like it's nobody's business, because that's how you make the most out of this system. I want to touch my sphere. I want to make sure that they feel loved. I'm going to make sure that I send out those single cards every single day. Just make sure you do it. Schedule it takes maybe 10 minutes at the most, and half of that is finding the things you want to say.
Yeah, time block. Spend 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. Get on Facebook and send out 5 or 10 cards a day. You send out 10 cards a day to your network and people that you've met during the day, and it didn't cost you anything but your monthly subscription. Guys, that's crazy. So it's just a phenomenal plan. So if you have a standard card, let's say that you're sending out a campaign card. So you've got that 4-touch campaign. That's going to cost $1.75 plus the 50-cent stamp. So it costs $2.25 for those cards. So basically the unlimited system is you're trading time for money. So if you've got the time and you keep good track of things, then you can just use the included system. We call it the free system. But if you want to have it kind of automated and out of sight, out of mind, then you set them up on a campaign and it'll cost you a little bit more, but you're going to save time. With the premium package, you're going to get a 30% discount on gifts. You're also going to get a loyalty reward program. This is 10 group send cards per month that if you don't use the group sends, they roll over for 12 months. So think of a group send as one card that's going to 2 or more people and sent out immediately. And that could be like, think of it like an invitation to a party, or if you wanted to send out 100 cards to a farm, something along that line.
Or so the premium invitation or announcement.
Yep, exactly. So the premium plan is great. The plan that I have is the enterprise package. So for $147 a month, you get unlimited single card sends, including postage. Again, send out 10 of those a day. That's 300 cards a month. I mean, that's crazy for $147 a month. Plus, you get 100 group send cards each month. So now on these group sends, you will pay the postage. So if you send out 100 free cards, you will pay for 50 cents for each card. So it would cost you $50 in postage. But that's just great to be able to send out 100 cards to a farm or to advertise your open house, or however you want to set it up. You know, you can use it not only for your business, but you can use it personally. And this program also gives you the loyalty rewards of 10 group sends per month, and those roll over for 12 months if you don't use those loyalty rewards. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, I signed up for the 147 because I love sending cards. It's literally the basis of my business at this point. But the 100 free group sends, I have been using that, or at least set it up. I have a reminder in my calendar now to time block. It takes me about a half hour. And what I do is bless you.
Thank you.
I will build a card and send it out to my farm, depending on that month. And that's my specific neighborhood. It's 189 people. And so I use my 110 cards for those 189. I spend a little bit of money, but it's literally a great way, since it's use it or lose it, to force myself to send and farm my neighborhood. Like my neighbor's house, 3 of the people on my street just sold their house. I know all 3 of those people. Not one of them listed with me except for my direct neighbor. Do you know how much that sucks? It really sucks. So send out. So I've converted to farming. That, I guess that's a new way. Is they always say you should farm your neighborhood no matter what. Whatever neighborhood you live in, always farm it because you live there. You want to know your neighbors. That's going to be a great source of lead generation and referrals. So farm your neighborhood. That's what I'm using to farm it. So I'll still send out I probably send out like 1,000 cards a month. Gary should probably know that. How many I send out, I don't even know. I send out a lot. But I make sure that I use my 100 free cards. I have a reminder so that they don't expire. I make sure that I send out my 100 free cards to my farm. So that's definitely a great way to do. What kind of messages do I send? I'll send out, a neighborhood garage sale announcement. something really cool going on in Loveland, my hometown. Anything that really reminds them, like, hey, there's this great program. If you're thinking about selling, Keller Mortgage can save you on the closing costs, whatever. Like, just come up with something cool and unique to your neighborhood and remind them, hey, I'm not just a realtor. I live at this address. So feel free to stop by and have a cup of coffee or whatever at any point. I make it so that I become their friend as opposed to just another realtor in the neighborhood. Or even just another realtor. I make sure people know that I'm there and that I'm invested in the fact that their home sells for as much as possible, because it also impacts my home value. That's a pretty big tool that I've been able to use since those homes went on the market. So, Gary.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the four subscriptions that you can choose from. We also have a few add-on packages that you can use. So one of them is the Essentials Pack, and I'll start by explaining it this way. For the $99 fee, you can get the First Impressions card. This is a campaign that is pre-made, ready to go. I guess it's about 90% ready to go. You may want to add your branding on the back. If you want to change the wording on the inside, you can. But these cards here are a little bit thicker cardstock. It's a little bit of an upscale feel. It's got a satin white or a satin black finish. So this campaign can be yours for $99. We also have the handwriting and signature program. So you fill out a form with your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, your punctuation. At the bottom of that form, you fill out, there's 4 different boxes, so you can sign your cards in 4 different ways. So it could be your first name, your legal name, it could be printed, it could be cursive. If you've got a significant other and some little ones, you can have them all sign on one part for a family card. However you want to set that up, then when you're creating your card on your phone or your laptop, you actually hit the signature icon, choose how you want to sign the card, and boom, that lands on the card. So that's a $49 package. But if you take the Essentials Pack, it's $99, and you get the First Impressions card and the handwriting and signature package for the same price as just the First Impressions card. So that's one thing that I would consider taking a look at. Another thing, and this may be of interest to you, it may not, but I want to let everyone know, because both myself and Kayla have subsidized our cost of using Send Out cards by being a referral partner. And basically all you need to do is share Send Out cards. Well, how do you do that? You say, listen, there's a webinar on Tuesday at 4 o'clock Pacific. Here's the link. Get on this webinar and let us do the heavy lifting for you. Let us go over everything that we just went over, and you're going to find that people are going to sign up as clients. They're going to sign up as referral partners, and that continues to kind of grow your network. So, you know, I know Kayla, I think she spent probably $1,000 a month, but she subsidized about probably, I think, $700 a month of it just by using being a referral partner and sharing this with people. And some of you on this webinar are here as a result of myself or Kayla inviting you. So this may be of interest to you. It may not. If you're not interested, great. You can just use the Send Out card system. But the guy that sponsored me in this business has been doing it for 13 years. And he sponsored 450 people. That's grown to 150,000 people in 6 countries. He has 500,000 clients, gets paid on every single one of them. And he makes more in a month than I make in a year. So by a long shot. So it's really something that doesn't happen overnight, but if you're consistently showing this and helping your team to show this, man, it can really add up over time. So there's one other thing that I can show you, which I will have to, I believe, sign in. So let me do that.
While you're doing that, Gary, I'll just say we do have one person in our Facebook group who, when we first started doing these webinars, she started doing my exact system and was committed and super, super consistent with it. And the first 4 people who called her to set an appointment, every single time she would call me. And she would say, oh my God, someone just called me to set an appointment. I believe it's Erica Dunning. And so she did a fantastic job. And, you know, she was not in on being a distributor until just this month. So it's not required of you by any means, but I think once you see the power of everything, it'll just blow your mind once you start really consistently, I'm just going to rub that word in your face, consistently using it, it will generate the business for you. It will pay for itself, 66 plus times over. So just make sure that you,
that was so cool when Erica said, I just signed up as a referral partner, and it takes 2 minutes or 5 minutes at the most to sign up. So sign up and start using the system. And then if you want to upgrade, and maybe you've shared it with a few people, or people see that you're, sending cards, or they got a card from you, it's very easy to upgrade your account to a referral partner. And once you do that, understand that Kayla and I are here to help you to grow your business. And part of that is doing these webinars, but we'll also do, conference calls and Zoom calls. And we're here to help you until you sign up 3 or 4 or 5 people, then you know what to do and you're off and running. Okay, so we have campaigns that are ready to go outside of the First Impressions campaign, which I talked about here just a little bit ago. For realtors, we've got a 3-touch campaign and a 5-touch campaign. And the 5-touch campaign has a birthday card. It has a holiday card. It has, home is where the heart is card. And so you'll get these 5 touches that are sent out to your network. And these cards are about 90% completed. The only thing you might want to do is put your branding on it. If you want to change any of the words, then you're welcome to do that. But a lot of times, realtors are very busy and they don't want to spend the time to create a campaign. Well, this is something that Send Out Cards has done, is that we've created those campaigns for you. So with realtors, we've got a 3-touch campaign, a 5-touch campaign. We also have, for insurance agents and pet care and network marketing and motorsports and medical and on and on and on. So we have all these different campaigns that you can show and use yourself should you need to. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and put this screen back on here. Listen, if someone else other than Kayla or myself has invited you to this webinar, you want to get back together with them and let them answer your questions. You want to go to their website, which they'll be happy to give you. You can go on their website, send a free card, and get signed up with a basic account, and then upgrade if you choose to. So let's go ahead and see if there are any more questions here. I think something just came in. Thanks, Melissa. That's awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're just here to help. So, send some people our way, and we'd be happy to try to get them in your downline. So just, we're here to help. We don't want to mess with anyone or cause any problems. We just want to see everyone succeed, which is why we share all of this information so in such detail. That's what we're here for.
Yep. So go to our website, send out a free card, and get a hold of us, ask us questions, and we're more than happy to help you, whether you're a client or a referral partner. Invite your realtor friends on this webinar and give them the blessing of, the value of being able to use Send Out Cards. And, it's just a great tool. So we're at 7 minutes past the hour. So unless there's any other questions, let's speak now or forever hold your peace. Anything finally?
I think we're good.
Guys, thank you so much for being on our webinar. I hope this has provided value for you. And we'll be here 2 weeks from now at 1 o'clock Mountain, I believe. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. If you're looking for the schedule, it is posted and pinned to the top of the real estate resource page. Just click on the pinned post and it'll have like the next 4 months of scheduled times. So feel free to send people our way. We're more than happy to help. That's what we're here for. Otherwise, be consistent and make sure that you implement it 100%, because that is the only thing that gets results. Be 100% in or not at all. That's
use this a couple months. You're going to see the results. You're going to get the feedback, and you'll get rid of all your other marketing and just start using this, and it will definitely work. Guys, just finally, we're in the people business. Use a system that helps us to grow our relationships and turn strangers into friends and prospects into clients and clients into raving referral fans. So with that being said, love you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you here soon.
All right. Bye, Gary. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.